Okay. Hopefully everyone can hear me. If not, let me know. Okay, it does look like the music is... Let me see if I can turn it down. I never have any idea how loud the music really ends up being on these. So, if it is too loud, let me know, and I can turn it down on my... yeah, so welcome back to another day on the server. As per usual, we're going to do our normal thing. We're going to explore a little bit, see some of the new stuff, and then we'll spend a little bit of time on a new project. So, as you guys can kind of see, we are somewhere a little bit different than where we usually are. It's kind of hard to tell because a lot of this jungle kind of looks the same. But the lack of the big buildings in Wealdstone, I feel like, at least indicates that this might be a less populated area. But yeah, I thought this was something that kind of cool. This is going to be the new town of Hexlin, also known as the City of 10,000 Wizards. So the idea behind this town is that it is a city populated almost entirely by wizards who all decided to move out to the countryside so they could do their research in peace and quiet away from the hustle and bustle. But unfortunately, pretty much all the wizards had the same idea at the same time, and now we've ended up with a whole city of wizards. So I want this, the idea behind this town is to make it chaotic and political and just kind of, I don't know, just weird. I want this to be a town composed primarily of like wizard towers and really weird wizard towers. Ones like this with, see this like little weird hanging off bit, like regular architecture that doesn't really work. It doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of physics necessarily. And I want to do a lot of stuff like that. Or like this weird globe with a tree inside it. I think Richard and Bart put this together this morning. Just really weird, crazy stuff. There's wool on here and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what any of it is. But I think it's pretty cool. So far, I think this is the only building in Hexlin. But my god, is it a beautiful building. But yeah, I figure this will be kind of this month's project. So I know, I kind of realized that Wealdstone, we've been able to get pretty close to put together in just a month, between December and January. So I thought that maybe we'd try and do another, maybe one city per month or maybe one city every 2 months. I don't know. But just have a place where people who don't want to strike out on their own and start their own separate town and everything and do work by themselves, where people can come together and work on something together, if they don't have the energy to, to try and figure it out by themselves, because I know that I don't always have that energy. But yeah, this could be our home for the next little while. I thought we'd explore a little bit. We'll head back to Wealdstone, see some of the new stuff. There's some factory work going on, I believe, so we're going to take a look at that. I did want to take a look at some of these little things, though. So this is a shrine. I'm not sure what it's a shrine for. Haven't really gotten that far. But the interesting thing about this shrine is that it is a schematic that has been pasted into the world by World Paint. So this isn't actually a structure that I built by hand in this world. I built it by hand in the schematic world, and then we added it to this the landscape. The same as these trees, right? These trees, the program decides where the trees go, and it just randomly distributes them, with some density and on the appropriate blocks. Same thing applies to these little shrines. So all throughout the jungle, very, very low rate, we will find these little shrines, and there's, I believe, 4 or 5 variations of them in various states of decay. And I thought it was just kind of something. It's like the structures that spawn in regular Minecraft. I feel like it provides a sense that this world has been lived in. It's exciting to discover new things as opposed to having to build all of them by hand. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a nice thing. We can actually go see the schematics. I just realized we're in the right world for it. And we can also see we've got a plugin called the Multiverse plugin, which allows us to have different dimensions, like the Nether or the End. But in this case, we have a flat world schematic dimension, which contains all the different trees that we use, trees and bushes and other schematics. But yeah, these are actually the schematics that I used for the little ruined shrines. Oops, this is the front, I think. Yeah, and they're pretty simple. So this is like an unruined version. Pretty pristine condition. There's a few cracked bricks here and there. Some cobble instead of the regular bricks, but more or less intact. It's got the little book, which I thought was kind of a nice touch for a shrine. Our next version of the shrine is a little bit more beat up. You can see there's some, the roof is collapsed a little bit. There's some plant life growing in there. We've still got our book, and honestly, the structure is still largely intact, just a little ruined. This one is ruined in a different way. The walls have all fallen down. There's no book anymore. But the roof on this one has been mostly intact. And then finally we have this one where the roof is mostly gone. The walls are mostly gone, but we do still have the book. This one's also got a spore blossom. I think just having a few variations of this and just, tossing them around in little bits and little bits, is really going to just bring this world to life, especially given the vast swaths of empty space, where we're not going to really be building a lot of things by hand. A lot of the forests and stuff in between are going to have like campsites and points of interest, but there's no need for us to go through and place in all the plants one by one. That would be silly. Similarly, we also have these other little ruins that I've created that are literally just random combinations of deep slate blocks and moss, carpet, and leaves and cobwebs and stuff. We will see these scattered throughout the world, and again, it's just to give this sense that yes, there are people who lived here before the people who currently live here. This is not an uncharted land. This is something that is being rediscovered, slowly over the course of time as we go. And I think that's kind of fun. It's kind of our version of like the archaeology with like the trail ruins and the potsherds and whatnot. So I thought it was kind of cool. I was thinking I might spend some time today just kind of wandering the jungle a little bit just to see if I can find some more of these little ruins and see if I can do anything with them. But let's go ahead and return ourselves to the real world. Let's see. We are on Aenoriia Apex 3. Go back to the hub. And from the hub, I figured now that we're back at the hub, we might as well go visit Wealdstone, see the new stuff that's been developed there. So, this is back in Wealdstone. The place we have made our home for the last 30 days or so. Looking great. We're almost done. I think with these kinds of projects, these really big city projects, as we get towards the ends of these, people get restless. That final little bit is the hardest part to get done. So, I think that we've made good progress, but I think it is time for a change of scenery. I think it's time that we need to take a little bit of a step back, maybe from parts of Wealdstone, and just find new things to focus on. Expand our horizons in a different direction, and keep that creative energy flowing. So some of the things I want to take a look at today, these factories and research centers that Lego and Puffer have been working on are truly phenomenal. And they continue to impress me, and I really want to go and take a look at some of the interiors and stuff, see what they've been working on. Remember in our last stream, it was a little bit of a slower stream, and I actually spent the whole time tearing down an old copy of the factory that was over here, because we had relocated it. And since the relocation, progress has been swift. We'll take a look at some of this stuff. I really like these details. Just the little bits and pieces. And Lego's actually in there working on stuff right now, I think. We won't bother him too much, but like, look at this ladder with the little railings and like the little pile of redstone blocks. Apes. I don't know. It's really cool. This is a kind of industrial style that I am not, personally particularly good at. But it's interesting to see what other people do with it. I love these little alleys. There's Lego. Oh, look at this door. This is a cool door. Oh, look at the railings down there and the observers. Dang. That is, I don't know why. It's not even a functional door, It's not. It doesn't actually close or anything. It's just decorative, but it's a really cool door. Man, it's the little things sometimes, the little details, What's with that glass? I'm assuming that's a marking block to remove it later. But yeah, and then this area is the area that Puffer's been working on. I think we looked a little bit at this. That says work. What does the other side say? Shop! Oh, I love it! That's so cute. How do we get in? Where's the front door? Here we go. I guess it hasn't really been filled in yet. This looks like it's going to be like maybe like a work supply shop, kind of, maybe they sell stuff for the people who work here. I don't know. But this little industrial district is just fantastic. I love look at this barbed wire fence with the cobwebs. Isn't that just like, that's such good use of the limited blocks we have. Or like this power source thing with the end crystals and the end rods and the beacon and everything. Yeah, I don't know. These this industrial stuff is something that I've never really been very good at. But now that we have people on the server who can build in this style really well, it's kind of fun to use some to try some new things. I like this scaffolding. Very picturesque, and it's like surprisingly functional too. Like you can climb up the scaffolding and whatnot. Although I think looks like you do get a little bit. Oh, there's barriers. I see. Maybe not entirely functional, but it definitely looks functional, and that's the fun part. But yeah, I believe Lego's factory over here. I believe the ultimate decision, because we've been trying to figure out. Well, Lego's been trying to figure out mostly. What it's a factory. What do they build in the factory? And I believe what we have settled on is golems, or like little. Yeah, look at this. Look at this guy. Isn't he cute? And I think that they're just, they're probably not golems in a sense of like sentient, sentient mechanical beings. I think these are probably more like your everyday household helper bots, kind of like Amazon Alexa. If Amazon Alexa was made of copper and had big, huge fists, I guess. I figure these are golems that, like, they sweep the floor and they, they mow the lawn and stuff, but they probably don't, ask him to write you some poetry, he probably can't figure it out. True sentience in life is something that is rare in this world, and there's, one of the central conflicts of the story we're telling, actually, is this idea that, that creating life is not as easy as creating something that is alive. There's a soul, a life essence, something more to life than just living, if that makes sense. I kind of like that. It's a fun story. It's thematically appropriate, I think. This is interesting. Got like these little parts full of, looks like wood. And I don't know what that is. That looks like some sort of like mechanical arm holding a redstone lamp and slotting it into these little chassis as they go by. Oh yeah, look at it is. It's a conveyor belt. I see. Look at this. It's got the little redstone arm that lights up the lamp. That's so cool. Yeah, I bet. Let me see if I can turn up my no, my brightness is all the way up. I can give myself let's see. Here we go. Now we can actually see things. This is a little bit better. I like the dark factory because it seems kind of you know, aesthetically exciting, but definitely much easier to see what's going on now. This is really cool though. You could definitely see where this is going. You've got this side, and then he's also carved these little loading docks that pop out on either side of this canal, and I think that's also kind of I don't know. There's cool stuff happening here, and I'm excited to see where it goes. The industrial side of Whalestone is something we haven't explored quite as much, and it's something that I'd like to take a look at because it's an interesting something we haven't really done before. Over here, Bart has built her own factory, although at a bit of a smaller scale. And this one, I don't remember if we looked at this, but this is a jam factory, and I really like this. He's got these huge kettles full of jam. And then there's a machine down here. I believe they're making pumpkin pies at this point. Yeah, and they've got this cool machine that squishes pumpkins into mush. I don't know why. That's just... I think it's cool that you would go to all the effort of creating a machine in Minecraft that doesn't function, that looks like it squishes pumpkins into mush. Oh, goodness. Let's get rid of this night vision, though, so we can have the nice shadows like we normally have. This is another thing that's being worked on. This is Puffer. Puffer is building a kind of a research facility, I believe. This is owned by one of the kind of local nobility, members of the local nobility, Amber and Ghoul Umber, who has set up this cool research facility to study the stars, I think, is kind of the plan. Something like that, because they do have this nice telescope. And then down here, these are like the less wealthy or less fortunate folks who don't have enough money to live in the main city. So they end up living out here, kind of on the outskirts of town, kind of a little bit closer to the jungle, right? The jungle's right here, and the jungle's not inherently dangerous, but living close to the wild comes with its own set of dangers, regardless. I believe we've decided that the common slur for these less fortunate people is mudfish. The idea being that mudfish, fish that live in the mud, like mud skippers and stuff, are kind of inherently less useful fish. They're not really that good to eat in a lot of situations. They're kind of hard to catch. And in the same way, I think that the perception of the poor in Whalestone is that these are people who are without worth or without value. They're not a valuable commodity to the city, which is probably completely, or at least partially untrue, right? People have value, and I think that that's something that we can all kind of agree that we shouldn't just we shouldn't be mean to people because we think that they are less valuable than other members of society. That seems like kind of a rude thing to do. But unfortunately, the reality of the world is that, that kind of behavior happens, unfortunately, and it's part of what makes these stories interesting, that you take the good with the bad. The other thing I wanted to mention while I'm here in Whalestone, really quick, bumped my head against the thing. This abomination that we built a couple streams ago, I don't like it. I'm going to tear it down. It's not what I wanted out of the building, and I had really high hopes. I had all these ideas, and I wasn't able to execute on those ideas the way I wanted to. But I have been talking with other people on the server, and I think we have some plans to try and find a way to salvage stuff over here and to make this an interesting place, even if the part of it that's interesting isn't this particular building. So we'll leave those plans by the wayside for right now because they haven't been fully figured out. But you know, fear not, that building is on its last days. It will soon be removed and replaced with something much better. Hopefully better. We won't know until we get there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the new stuff in Whalestone. Things have been, I mean, obviously there's a lot of new stuff. There's lots of little individual bits and pieces, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot else in terms of like really big stuff. A couple other things I thought we'd take a look at. Go back to the hub. Actually, let's go back to the schematic world and go look at the desert stuff. Let's go back over here. Because some other new stuff has kind of come up recently. And this is part of the reason that I realized that people were getting bored of Whalestone. Because Richard has been hard at work building all of this. Some of this we've seen. This Grand Bazaar kind of thing, with the scorpion statue on the roof. This is something I think we've seen before. I think this was here the last time. I think at least most of the stuff was also here, but he's gone through and added a lot of details in the time since we last checked in. So I thought this is kind of cool. Lots of neat ideas for when we do end up working on the desert. But those ideas will have to kind of wait a little bit of time because we don't have any part of the map that's set up for desert yet. And without terrain to put these on top of, they're going to have to sit here in the schematic world for a little while. Really love the colors here. The shape of these. I like these hexagonal domes that he keeps building. It's really nice. Really good colors. If any of you are not already following Richard, who is BrainPoxMC on Instagram, if you like the stuff that you see during these streams and on my Instagram and stuff, you should go follow him because you know, he does a lot of really impressive work. Really great builder, and I think that yeah, he posts every once in a while, and there's a lot of good stuff to be seen there. He's also got a good eye for, you know, camera angles, getting good pictures of stuff from good angles that looks nice. So go check him out. But yeah, I think that's kind of all the catching up we need to do. I'm sort of excited to get to the other part of this stream, the part where we explore Hexland and start doing some building there, because I've got some good ideas. Let's see. Let's head back to the regular world. Head back to the hub. Also, thank you to Richard for hooking Hexland up to the hub. So I've forgotten to do that, and he's gone ahead and made this nice little hub teleporter, which I am thankful for. But yeah, I thought we'd spend a little bit of time just kind of exploring, because this is a big space. And there's a lot to see. So, similar to Whalestone, Hexland is in what we're calling the Ozmir jungle, the rainforest of Ozmir. This is a large portion of terrain on the map that is covered in dense tropical rainforest. So because of this, the terrain and the area, you know, the flora and fauna, I guess, that you see around here is going to be very similar to what you see in Whalestone. They're not terribly distant. I actually wonder, give me a second. Let me see if I might be able to pull up a map. And that would actually be pretty useful. Let me see if I can display capture. think it's this one. Oh, I have to turn off the game capture. Ah, there we go. Nice. I think we can see it. Okay, cool. So this is our dine map, which I might need to reload. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of all the markers, because the markers are kind of a problem, and the one for players. So this is our world. This is the project. This is everything. Well, technically, this is everything. This is it. This is what we've spent three years working on, in all of its glory. So a lot of the, to get a sense of scale, this down here is kind of where we've spent most of our time. This is Wealdstone, so you can see this little blob of buildings. And then down here, this little area, I hope you can see my mouse. I'm pretty sure you can. But this area down here is Hexland. So, we're a little bit of a distance, but you can see that, the Ozmir rainforest really consumes, most of this this province. There's some highlands up here that are a little bit, they're higher up. There's less water. You end up with less of the clouds kind of trapped down in those valleys. And so this area is a little bit drier, more fields and more traditional forests. There's also some plains and stuff. But this is where we're focusing most of our efforts these days. This is Wealdstone. If it'll... There it goes. Takes a little bit of a while to zoom. But it's a pretty good sized city, I mean, we've done quite a bit of work. You can see there's a lot of buildings. And to get from Wealdstone to Hexland, we just follow these roads down to the south. And then eventually we need to cut across. Sometime around here, this is kind of where you cut down into the jungle itself. And we find our way over here to Hexland, which is around this lake. So a few things I want to point out about Hexland, some details. Because this is really... I feel like this is the first time that I've really spent time with the community talking about, like, planning things on the fly. A lot of the time, I feel like I come to you guys with a plan already in mind, which is good. But I thought it might be kind of interesting to kind of see the process a little bit in a little bit more depth. So some things about Hexland. First of all, I knew that I wanted Hexland to have a feeling of, like, tripleness, of the rule of threes. This idea that 3 is a powerful number. And so this lake has 3 little cliffs that overlook it. Here, here, and here. And this lake is actually known as the Three Mothers Lake. And the significance of all this in the lore is that Hexland is located at the intersection of 3 different ley lines. Now, ley lines are kind of a mythology to themselves. In this context, for this setting, ley lines are sort of naturally occurring lines of magical power that are sort of positioned randomly across the world. In places where ley lines intersect, you end up with more magic in the land itself and more power. And so what ends up happening, I think, is that areas that are near areas where ley lines cross end up being magical hubs for the arcane distinguished people in the world. And so a town that's built on the convergence of 3 ley lines would therefore be a very, very powerful, magical area, I would think. And so I think that the idea is that, all these wizards all came to the same conclusion. I want to study, I want to invent new spells and figure out, new potions and whatnot. And the best way for me to do that is to go to a place with a lot of magic just soaked into the land and to build a tower there and just live out the rest of my life as a hermit doing my research. Except that this is such a powerful location that I think a lot of wizards kind of came out. And so what we end up with is kind of a hodgepodge of wizards competing for space and for access to magical nodes or whatever the case may be. Some other details of Hexland that are sort of interesting. We've got this area back here that is actually really pretty and natural. The area down by the lake is kind of muddy. But once you get up here, you've got this neat little network of little streams, and you've got this little path that winds its way through. It's actually quite beautiful. Kind of reminds me of like the Shire from Lord of the Rings. It's got that kind of idyllic green pastures kind of feel to it. So I think maybe there's some druids or something who really like it up there. I feel like that can be fun. Another thing, we've got a little space up here that's pretty flat, but it's a little bit away from the area that I would call the main town. So I'm thinking that this is significant somehow, and I've actually marked it as such. As Weirlum. I don't know what that means. It's a word I made up 5 minutes ago or whatever, but I guess prior to the stream would be 30 minutes ago. But we're going to find out what it means eventually. It could be a library. It could be kind of a town hall, maybe. There's an area up here that I think is sort of interesting. That could be a site of some sort of ritual. It's kind of a flat area up in the hills. And I think that's kind of important is to spend time, wandering around this area before we build anything and looking for spots that are interesting and noting them and thinking about how those different points interact with each other. If this flat area, was over here, it would be different, right? It would tell a different story. And having it be over here to the east, a little bit away from everything, makes me feel like this is something that is either forgotten or something that is lost, or something that is disregarded, or secret, sacred, unliked. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that something could be off on its own. But usually there is a reason. It's not random. It's not, oftentimes at least, this person didn't end up out here by choice. It's a matter of circumstance. So that's something to keep an eye on. We'll think about it. I also noticed that of all the mountains in this area, there's really only one peak that gets snow. That's high enough elevation to get any snow. And that's this one up here, which it is quite a tall mountain. I thought I'd label it. Typically, tall mountains have significance. Either it's a place where you build a watchtower or something like that, or it's just a good marker for finding your way around. If you can always spot the snowy peak in the distance, and you always know that same snowy peak is the same one, no matter where you are in town, it helps you get your bearings and understand where you are. So I think things like that are going to be important to at least make a note of. Anyway, back to the Minecraft, I guess. Let's do a little bit of exploring. Let's see what's what in Hexland. So already we can see this is kind of the main gate area. This is the entrance. This is a big bridge that we're gonna have to build across this river. And already we can see that Hexland is very green, very lush. Look at all the cattails. Look at the willow trees. Willow trees typically grow places that are very wet. They require a lot of water to grow effectively. And I think that, yeah, it's kind of nice. We've got this nice path that tells us kind of where we go. There are a few things like this tree. I think this tree should go. It's kind of in the middle of the road. And it's blocking the path. And I think that it's making it confusing about where the path is. And we don't want confusing stuff like that. We don't want there to be any question about where the path is. We want people to be asking more productive questions. Things like, oh, why does this place have so many wizards? Or, who's that crazy sloth guy? And why is he punching trees? And, asking the real questions, not the silly ones. We'll go ahead and blow up this tree one block at a time. We could do it with commands, but I'm finding more and more that I actually kind of enjoy doing things by hand. I don't know. It feels, in some ways, it feels more respectful. just to acknowledge that that time and effort went into. I mean, this is a tree that I built, and it's a schematic, so not a lot of time and effort went into that one in particular. But when I was tearing down the factory, I was thinking about, it seems kind to have the respect to to give things the space that they're due. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just romantic. Yeah, I think it's good to kind of take a look at some of these streams. The water's a little bit weird here. Don't know if there's a good way to fix the water. We could do that. I don't know if that really fixes things. Like, I don't know if this is really a more compelling stream than it was before, so I don't know. We'll probably leave those alone for now, but if we do feel like the water looks distracting in the future, we can come back to it. But this is kind of that green area up in the hills I was talking about. You can see that we start to go from the mud and the muddy roots and the soul sand and stuff to grass and moss. It's kind of nice. We got some rolling hills, lots of greenery, lots of trees. This could be an excellent place to build some wizard towers, I think I actually have a marker specifically for one. I think right here. Yep, there's the sign. Tower, question mark. This could be a great place for a wizard tower. And I think that we need to make sure that the wizard towers get increasingly weird as we build them. I think that's got to be priority number one. That tree is also kind of in the way. I should probably remove this one as well. Yeah. So, what am I gonna build? What kind of wizard tower am I gonna build? Because you guys know that I'm going to build a wizard tower. So I've been talking about it for the last 30 minutes without actually telling you what it is I'm gonna do. My idea, I want to build an upside down tower. I want to build a tower where the pointy part at the top of the tower sticks into the ground, or maybe sits, hovers slightly above the ground. I just think that would be really silly and fun. Something and I think that it'll do a good job of demonstrating to anyone who comes to build in this area, oh, this place is weird. They build weird stuff here. Okay. And I think that that'll help prevent us from ending up with boring towers, and it'll help us focus more on the really strange, weird towers, because that's what I want. I want weird stuff. I want this town to be a place that you walk in and you're not sure what kind of drugs they're pumping into the air, because you are seeing some weird stuff that you probably shouldn't be seeing. That's the vibe. So I think upside down tower is good. I was thinking I might build like a big curvy hill. For anyone who has seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I would hope that most of you have, because it's a phenomenal movie. But before I go up on too much of a tangent, there's a hill in that movie, in the Halloween land, I guess. That is, it's a very iconic shaped hill that's kind of curly. It's got kind of a point to it that kind of curls up into a little spirally curlicue. And I kind of want to build a hill like that, and then hang the tower off of the bottom of it, like a bat hanging from the ceiling of a cave. And I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know. I've never built a weird hill like that, so we'll have to see. Oh, that path looks so much better without the tree in the middle, though. So there's gonna be some stuff we're gonna have to do, some cleanup we're gonna have to do like that. But it's okay. We'll get to it. Like this area of path with the willow trees. Yeah, like that's gonna have to get cleaned up at some point. But that's a tomorrow Astro problem. Let's go build us a crazy wiggly hill and an upside down tower. Okay, so in terms of locations for where we build this tower, I thought kind of here, kind of on one of these main areas, and I thought maybe I'd have. It's hard to explain. But I thought I'd have this tower that kind of, like this hill structure thing. It kind of comes out like this. And then it curves around on itself. So I was thinking we have something like this, where it's, and obviously it'll be thicker, you know, the base of it will be like, probably like down here or something like that. But the idea being that like, we just have this weird curvy hill. Something like this. Let's see. Yeah. Something that curls up like that. And then we have grass and moss and stuff that goes all along the inside curve. And then up here at the top, build us out a little bit more. Up here is where we build our tower. We have our tower that comes down like this. And it's got a little, you know, the classic pointy wizard tower. And it's got a little roof that comes down like that. And this is, wow, that looks really stupid, but this is my vision. This is what I want to build today. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to look good. I don't know if I'm qualified to build something like this, but I think if we could pull it off, it's going to be so cool. Okay, cool. So I think the first step to building something like this is going to be to build the wiggly, I don't know, hill thing. The ground. We're going to use commands for that. I'm thinking, I think I just blob on a bunch of diamond blocks and then kind of try to smooth it out as best I can with commands, brushes and stuff. I don't see a much better way of doing things, so I think that's what we'll go with. Let's see, diamond blocks. We'll do. I feel like we start with a smaller radius and we kind of work our way up to the big radius. We kind of start here. Actually, this little scaffolding I made maybe helps a bit. Oh, let's spectator mode ourselves to safety. Actually, I need to undo that one. Okay. It almost looks like a crescent moon almost. And the question is, do we think it needs to be longer than that or curve more? I think maybe curve a little bit, like come out a little bit further. And then just curve just a tiny bit at the tip. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Oh man, this is gonna be the best. Okay, let's do our same command, but we'll make it smaller so we can make the tip of this a little bit pointy, maybe. Can we curve it all the way in? Is that possible? Is that a smart idea? Let's see. What do we think of that? That's pretty awesome. Actually, looks really. I got a really clean shape. I don't know how I did that. That is a very nice curve, though. Not really intentional. Okay, and then the other thing we need to do is we need to widen it. Bring out the sides. Yeah, there we go. Make it wider and wider as we get to the base, so that it, you know, supports its own weight and all that good stuff. This. Nice. Okay, we'll kind of start down here and kind of work our way up. Alright, let's do the other side. I think we'll probably have 2 different brushes, one for each of the sizes of the blobs. Make it just a little bit simpler. Let's see. This we mask air. Nice. Something like that, maybe? Yeah, okay. It's gonna take a little bit more sculpting to get the shape, but we are on the right path, that's for sure. This backside needs to be more curvy. Sorry. I am perpetually a 13-year-old child on the inside, so I laugh at butt jokes and stuff. Can't help it. Let's do like this. And I think there's something to be said for this being kind of flared at the bottom. I think we may need to remove like the vegetation down there to get this to connect up. Let's go ahead and get a for now. We'll say seagrass. All seagrass. Oh no, this is just gonna be. I don't even know. I guess most of the stuff is underwater, so we'll turn it into water. Tall seagrass. What else? We don't want to turn the lily pads into water because that'll make the surface of the water weird. We'll do sea pickles. Sea pickle. And then we'll do a different brush for like the drip leaf. But this just clears a little bit of space for us. Are the drip leaves underwater too? I guess. Yeah, I guess they mostly are. Okay, let's do a different mask. We'll say if it's one of those. Let's see. We're gonna mask for small drip leaves that are also underwater. Is there a waterlogged? Oh, there is. That's easy. There we go. We can get rid of all the waterlogged drip leaves, and then we can say lily. Whoop. Lily pad. Okay, there we go. That gives us a little more space to work with. I can break these by hand just so they don't get in the way. The candles are sort of annoying sometimes. They do a great job of being like the little fuzzy bits at the end of cattails, but there are so many of our builds near water that are like filled with cattails at this point. Okay, and the other thing we need to do is make sure that these brushes will interact with water correctly. I'm just going to remove the mask there so that it will still create blobs underwater. Working underwater is just a little bit more complicated. We may have to drain a portion of this lake just to do this terraining. Let's see if this completely reverts or if there it leaves us a dry patch. Nope, that's gonna completely fill back in. Sometimes there will be an empty space that gets left over that we can build in, and then we can fill it back in with water later. But I guess we got a little bit of that right there. Let's see if we can... So I'd rather not drain the entire lake if I don't have to. But that being said, a lot of this can be kind of fixed later, so... Alright, let's fill in some more of this stuff. Surprisingly, you know, it seems like a lot of extra work, and I've often asked myself, would it not be easier to just not add the water until afterwards? Like, you know, it seems like it's a lot of effort for me to drain these areas, so I can build in them only to refill them with water later. But I do think that there's something to be said for just the ability to work with the water. You know, I think the water informs us a little bit about where we can place things and where they're gonna fit. So I think it's necessary to have the water there just so we can see where we should be placing things, which is why we end up naturally needing to remove the water in order to actually place the things. But that's okay. Fill in some of these gaps. Nice. Now I've realized that what we're doing here is actually very similar to building trees, or at least the way I build trees. Sort of strange. This is also going to need to fill this area. It's a little bit hollow at the moment. There we go. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Look at this shape. Oh, that is such an iconic... That is such an iconic shape. I hate this little bump back here, though. We need to fix that. That's awful. But the general shape of it is awful. This needs filling in. Like that. And I do promise that we will come through and fill this in better later. Right now, this is like a kind of a rough sketch. I need to drain this again. Nice. There we go. Okay. That is probably better. Let's see. Okay, I think this part is a little bit thin. Add a few more blocks there. And like that. Nope, nope. That was a mistake. I think... maybe one more. I think we need blobs here. This is the location we're missing them. Maybe like that? Hard to say. I have a lot of trouble with these organic shapes. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Go ahead and fill in some of this. All right, cool. It's like MCX is online. Fun. There you go. Look at that. Look at that stream. MCX just said hello to you. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel loved? You should feel loved. Oh, interesting. Listening to a piano stream, huh? Piano streams are fun. I like music streams in general. I wish I was talented enough at music to make music streams, but not quite there. I'll just do Minecraft streams. Let's see. Okay. I think it's time we start working on smoothing things out. Let's see. Actually, I guess he could also TP to me. Okay, let's grab brushes. Grab these brushes. And then I think we'll try doing some smoothing. The built-in world edit smoothing brushes are poor. They're not great. But they're all we got right now because I think Voxel Sniper on this server is not working appropriately. So oh well. We give it our best shot. Oh, I just realized we have to be careful. Because the smooth brush does not like things that float in the air. Let's see if this... Yeah. Okay. That's not too bad. Let's see. Okay, that works. Because we can fill in this stuff, we can fill in pretty easily. And we'll have to, as always, we'll have to come through and do some stuff by hand. What does he say? Is it over here where Richard's Tower is, or where the Magic Beanstalk is? I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure what the Magic Beanstalk means. Maybe he's talking about this, in which case this is also, yes, this is excellent. But I'm not sure. Okay, let's fill in some of this. It kind of got hollowed out before. And then we'll start placing a few blocks. Yes, it is. I'm assuming this is what he's talking about in the Magic Beanstalk. This is the Magic Beanstalk. Let's see. Put this here. This thing is weirdly hollow, which is also strange. Fill some of this in. I'm trying to just kind of smooth this shape out so it's not... We have some weird stuff like that. Is over here. I'm not sure. We'll just... I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what he's asking. So I might have to regroup with him after the stream so I can figure that out and explain in a little bit more detail. It seems like there's some confusion. Let's see. A lot of what I'm doing now, just in case people are wondering, is just trying to break up straight lines. These organic builds are But yeah, a lot of this is just trying to get rid of the kind of weird stuff like this. Like, this is a weird shape. I don't feel like rocks would really make that kind of shape. So we get rid of it, and then we fill in the area behind it. Little stuff like that. Let's see. I think we bring this up, connect it in here, fill that in. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, this is starting to look nice. I really like this. There's kind of a subtle curve that goes kind of like that. And I like that, and I want to try and make that more pronounced if I can. So we're going to bring this part of it down a bit. Into the water, smooth that area. Add a few blocks here to smooth that. Yeah. Sandstone. The sky's the limit. It's a wizard town. They have all sorts of weird stuff already. that feeling, that kind of the freedom to build silly things. Yeah, to use weird blocks like purpur and wet sponge. That freedom is something that we don't always have in different parts of this project. There are definitely parts that are more serious or somber or something, you know, like where it just doesn't feel like it'd be very appropriate to use blocks like that. But this is an opportunity for some of the opposite, to give people, you know, within reason, pretty absolute freedom to build whatever it is their heart desires. You know, and people on this build team have that freedom most of the time anyway. But I think that, you know, that it does get a little bit boring sometimes trying to stick within the same stylistic space week after week, month after month, year after year. You know, it can get a little dull. And so having opportunities to do projects like this where we're doing some silly things, and is this optimal? Absolutely not. Is this a real kind of city that could show up in the real world? Maybe, probably not really, but who really knows? But are we going to have a lot of fun building it? The answer to that, I think, is pretty resoundingly yes. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's always the goal. To enjoy ourselves, to have fun playing this wonderful game. And to make some neat things. Oop-a-doop-a-doop. Let's see here. I do want to also fill in just like these little holes that have popped up from the smoothing tool. I do like that this is melded pretty seamlessly. That's good. We can definitely spend some time kind of blending it into the rest of this hill, because ultimately I want this to be made out of the same material. So I don't want it to be that this thing is sticking out of the side of this cliff. I'd like it to be the case that this is just part of the cliff that is, you know, been magically forced to you know, produce a strange shape, I guess. I don't know. These little corner bits are always a little bit challenging. I have trouble knowing where to fill them in and where to extend them, and just understanding what role they play in the shape. That's honestly pretty good, though. I think I might add... Yeah, that's good. Because I really want to put emphasis on, like I was talking about before, this feeling, this path that winds its way up like this. Whoa. Hello. And so I think we just want to fill in spaces so that we can start to build up that that sense. You can see that we've got like, I don't know if they're really peaks, but like little pointy bits. So we got a pointy bit here, and you see there's a leading line that kind of leads in that direction, and I really want to continue pushing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and move this line over a little bit so that it lines up kind of with the next step in that progression. And then we probably bring that down, kind of carve this out a little bit. As we carve this away, little by little, you can see we're also ending up with another diagonal like this. And we just kind of continue making diagonal lines until we end up with the shape we want. It's not a super detailed or interesting process, but I think it does a good job of getting us to where we want to be. That's the main goal. Okay, it's got a nice shape to it. I think this area up here is a little bit clunky, so we get rid of some of the clunk. What do we think of that? I think this right here is too square, so we take out a couple of blocks, and we take out one there. I think this is too flat, but now this lines up with all of this. It's a constant struggle, and I don't know how much of the struggle is really in my brain and how much of the struggle is a real thing that people are looking at this and being like, oh my god, that looks gross. I think it looks gross, but that might just be me. Okay. That's not too bad. I think from this perspective, we need to chop this down a little bit. Because what we want is a slightly more gradual curve to the kind of the spine of this. I think this is a pretty good profile. We've got this kind of curve up like this, and we have this profile on the inside. It looks nice. Okay, let's smooth out the inside of this. I think that this is going to end up being shaped a little bit like a tentacle, like an octopus tentacle, where, or like a squid, I guess, where tentacles are, or maybe less like a tentacle, more like an elephant's trunk. Elephants have trunks. Trunks are kind of like long, prehensile appendages. But the key feature of a trunk that differentiates it from like I don't know, other tubular structures is that a trunk has like kind of a flat, it's got a palm to it, like the palm of your hand, that's sort of flat and more dexterous. And I think that this, in the same way, this hill will have a lot of that same shape where the inside curve is going to be sort of flattened, so that we can put grasses and trees and stuff on it. But the outside curve will be nice and rounded. That's the thought, anyway. It's a lot of trial and error. I know that, well, I don't know. I know that when I started watching people like stream this kind of building, that I always thought like, wow, like how does that person know how to place, a block here or place a block there, why don't they place a block over here? Like what's the thought process? What do they know that I don't know that lets them make these decisions? And what I've kind of discovered just by trial and error, is that, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who do have a plan in mind when they build. But honestly, I've been getting by pretty well just winging it. Just kind of figuring stuff out as I go. And just kind of, there's not really a lot of logic to where I place blocks. I think that I put them in places where I think they would look good. And I don't know if that's the most compelling reason, but it's something, It's just, yeah, it's just a feeling, where does this feel like it would go best? Sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you're wrong and you don't even know you're wrong, and it takes you weeks or months of staring at this and and thinking everything is okay, and then one time you just look at it and you're like, oh, why did I do it that way? That's such a silly decision that I've made. I should obviously be doing it this way. And then suddenly everything rights itself. Sun comes out and everything's nice. Can't really explain it, but yeah. Sometimes there aren't. My point being, sometimes the right answers are just to try it and see what happens. The best thing you can do is just keep building. Keep building. Don't stop. Practice makes perfect. Practice and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. And I do think that practice on its own, you can practice as much as you want, but if you're not in a mindset to grow and to change and to try to improve yourself, that practice doesn't do much good unless you've got a growth mindset. That's my take anyway. My kind of weird, awkward hot take. Let's see here. This is very square. But see, just by moving a few blocks around, suddenly it's not square. Look at this corner. This corner is 4 blocks and 3 blocks. This is very square. But I also know that if I break this block, it's less square. And if I break this block, it's even less square. In fact, now it lines up with this nice diagonal line. But now we've got the problem that this thing is now very square. So we break a block. Now it lines up with this line, which feels a little bit strange. But I don't want to break this block, because I think that would bring it down too much. So I'm going to break this one instead. And just like that, we've taken something that looks a little bit maybe too orderly and too planned out and too square, and we've kind of given it a little bit of its chaos back. Which is useful. Like this. This is... I can see the sphere of diamond blocks that was placed with the brush there. If I can see the sphere, then it's not well hidden. So we're just going to break off bits and pieces until we have the shape we want. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. Kind of like that. We just want to try and scramble things up a little bit. Scramble. Like an egg. I have to say, I love scrambled eggs. They're probably my favorite way of eggs being cooked. Never been a big fried egg person. I don't know. Scrambled is just a good way of cooking eggs. I don't know where, I guess, I don't know where the word, messing with the word scrambled at this point. I feel like this kind of organic building does drive me off my rocker a little bit. Maybe me being a little bit crazy and sleep deprived is interesting content, perhaps. Don't know. But I'm willing to experiment with that. Let's give it a shot and see, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at this curve. That's a nice curve, isn't it? Make it nicer by adding a block here and a block here. Oh, it's such a beautiful curve. It's wonderful. I like it. Let's put this in. This is very square. This is a straight line. We don't want those straight lines, so we do our best to kind of obscure them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But we learn a little something every time. What do we think about that? Getting there. Definitely getting there. I think all of this feels pretty fine. I'm cool with that. I think this section right here could use a little bit of... There's a lot of holes still left in this. I don't know if I fill those in. Okay, that's better. Get rid of these. Break a block there. These are aligned. Let's unalign them. That. Yeah, that looks a lot smoother. Okay. This little foot is too big. We make it a little bit smaller. Add a few blocks underneath to kind of extend the shape a little bit. Getting there. I see a big square over here. Gonna try and obscure that. Ooh. Actually, I think that's good on its own. I don't want to mess with that too much more. This we can smooth out a little bit as well. Block here and there. But this shape is also pretty good. I wouldn't want to mess too much with this for fear of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? So something that might... I don't know, I learned growing up, you know, it's this idea that if it works, and it works well, and it does its job, maybe there's no reason to worry too much about changing it, huh? I kind of like that little, that block right there really makes this feel like a... I don't know, it's got a very, tentacly feel to it. Let's do like this. And... like... Okay, what do we think of that? It's a good curve. Like that, maybe? That seems pretty good, pretty good. Break that, we'll break this. And then we'll have to think about what we're going to actually put on this. Because, I mean, obviously there's going to be a tower hanging from it, but what else do we add there? We add a tree? That'd be kind of fun. That's such a picturesque view, huh? Definitely looks like something from an anime or a children's movie. Yeah, I like that a lot. Do a little bit down here. That seems okay. And then I think there's one more area. This transition right here. A little awkward. Like to add a couple more blocks there just to make that. It was looking a little bit square almost. But this feels pretty good. Let's spectator mode and take a peek at our handiwork. Ah, okay, I see. See this right here? See this gap? That needs something. I don't know what, but maybe we can connect it up a little bit. Yeah, and we thin this out up here. Perfect. Okay. See any other areas that need fixing? Honestly, this is looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Nice. Okay, let's paint it. Also, we should fix the water. Now that we're done with this, we should make sure we fix the water. Which I believe is at this level. Water. And then we'll say fix water. That should fix that a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't mess with any of these little streams. But I don't think so. And then we'll add in we can add in the water, vegetation, and stuff a little bit later. Yeah, it seems all good. Okay, let's paint it. So I would assume that most of this is going to be kind of this dark rock mix. It's got what's this, basalt, smooth basalt, deep slate coal ore, bedrock, cobbled deep slate. There's some toughened stuff in there. We've also got this kind of rock palette over here, a little bit more cobbly. We might add a little bit of that. And then this inside edge is going to be, I think, mud and grass. I think we might actually spread some grass along the top of here too. It kind of feels like it'd be nice. So let's get our brushes ready. I'm going to make a few different ones. So this one's going to be our dark rock brush. So this is going to be smooth basalt, deep slate coal ore, bedrock, cobbled deep slate, regular uncobbled deep slate, cyan terracotta. I think that's pretty much all I need to include in this one. Can add in some tough. Okay, for this one, we're going to do a lot of the same stuff, but we're going to add in more tough and a little bit of, like, tube coral and whatnot. What is... I always get all the corals confused. What is this? That's bubble coral. Okay, so we're going to say... deep slate. Cobbled deep slate. Tough. And cobblestone. We want dead. What did we say that was? Bubble coral. That's what it was. Dead bubble coral blocks. And we probably need one more dark one just so we have even mix. We'll put the smooth basalt back in. Actually, no. We'll use the cyan terracotta. I'll make a slightly smaller radius. Oops. We need to put it on here. Cool. So these should be similar but slightly different brushes. So that one looks like that, and this one looks like this. So you can see how they've got a lot in common, but there's a little bit of difference. And that'll allow us to blend this into the rest of the drink. Get rid of those for now, though. Okay, and then let's see. We also need, I guess like a dirt layer brush that goes kind of on top of the, so this would be probably dirt, coarse dirt, that sort of thing. Let's call this dirt, coarse dirt, rooted dirt. I'm going to use soul soil, but not soul sand, just because if any of this gets underwater, the soul sand's going to be annoying, because bubble columns are really not fun to work with in creative mode, to be honest, especially when you're working with water. We also can't use any gravity, because some of these are going to be upside down, so that means no concrete powder. But this seems like a good mix. I'm wondering if we can do like muddy mangrove roots, I guess. And that'll be fine. We're going to make that a radius of 5. For this one, we're going to do masked diamond blocks, but we're also going to mask exposed. Which means that the only blocks that are going to get changed are the ones on the outside. So you'll see that if we put a block of this, and if we punch a hole, the block behind it is still diamond. Whereas, if we do one of these, and we punch a hole, the block behind it is not diamond, because it's going all the way through. So this is just a surface brush. This allows us to paint a surface of dirt onto the rock without messing everything else up or having too much dirt that it seems strange. And then I think the last one is just going to be a grass one. So the weird thing is that we can't actually use regular grass blocks here because they're going to be upside down. And grass blocks from the underside just look like dirt. So we're probably going to have to make use of mostly moss and green wool. We'll say this one we're going to use percentages because I think that's going to be useful. We'll use 80% moss blocks, 5%. We'll have a little bit of grass in there. And then this is going to be 15% green wool. I think this array is 5. This is also going to be exposed. We'll use the exposed tag again, just because grass and dirt we're going to be putting them in much the same places. I'm also going to delete our little starter tower here. Way. Okay, so best things to paint first. I think we go soft to hard. So we start with the grass, and then we do the dirt, and then we do the rock. That way, we end up with enough grass for what we want, but not too much grass. And we can come through and fine-tune some of this as we go, because I can already see there's parts of this have too much grass, and that's okay. We just want to get quite a lot of grass. Okay, and then we go to our dirt brush. This is going to go kind of around the edges. We just want a little bit of this to be visible kind of underneath the grass, I guess. Look at this. This is silly. There we go. Now we start doing the rocks. We'll put the lighter rocks kind of at the lower slopes, so the flatter parts. And actually, I think that's too big. Let's find the same command. Thankfully, it records all of our commands. This is the one. I'm going to decrease that 10 to like 5. We'll mask diamonds, but we'll also mask dirt, rooted dirt, So we're just going to add the dirt blocks to it. That way we can overwrite them. Let's see. Dirt, soil, and muddy mangroves. Something like this. Then you should be able to add little splashes of this kind of along some of the shallower curves of this. Nice, and then we can fill in the rest of this diamond area with this guy. This gives us a good starting off point. We will have to refine this by hand as we go. Off to a good start. We definitely do want the back, the spine of this to be rock. Let's see here. So let's find this man, which is this one. We'll reduce this to radius 5, I think. And for this one, we'll use the mask exposed. We will maybe take a look at it a little bit later, but I really want to make sure that I get this mostly finished on stream. And I think I need to make the radius smaller as we get to the tip of this. Maybe like even really small. Look at that. Nice, and then we can slowly paint in little pieces where we need them. I think a little bit would be good here. A little bit more here. Okay, I kind of like this. This is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. So, find our dirt palette again. So we're gonna need to change that one. Grass, coarse dirt. That'll work. Well, that's a mask. Let's see. Nope, that's a mask still too. There it is. Okay, here we go. Let's change that from 5 to 1. Mask exposed. Okay, we'll come along here. Add in a little bit of dirt. Wherever we don't have a dirt edge on this grass. Down here. Just a little bit. So we want this to kind of have like 3 little clear layers. There needs to be like a dirt layer, or there needs to be a rock layer, a dirt layer, and then the grass. And I think being very intentional about having all 3 of those is good. It's gonna help give this a little more of an identity, I think. It'll be easier to tell, like at a casual glance, like, what is this? But it is a little bit precise in places. but not too bad, honestly. I think this looks good. Let's see. I think that a little bit down here at the bottom. Okay, that looks cool. Let's spread the grass onto the ground a little bit. Okay, this was my grass one. Find the grass command. This would be the one. Actually, we can probably change this a little bit, just because this part can have regular grass blocks. 15, so that's gonna be what, 25 here. That'll work. Want this to be bigger than this, should make it 10. Okay, I'm gonna mask mud. Muddy mangrove roots. Dirt. Actually, we won't mask dirt. We can leave the dirt. I actually don't mind it. We do want to mask soul sand, as well as... Honestly, we can leave the dirt paths. I'm okay with those. But I don't want the dripstone bits. I think this will allow us to green this up. Probably need to get rid of the soil as well. There we go. Okay. Spread some grass up here. And I don't know if all of this will be grassy, but I'm only going to turn this top part grassy for right now. We can add more grass later if that feels appropriate. This looks really cool though. It's a weird thing. Okay, let's go ahead and add some greenery. I think we're gonna try to add some like bushes and stuff. I don't know how well that's gonna go, but we'll give it a shot. Try it. Let's see. Actually, we should pick some different colors of leaves just to have a little bit of variety. I'm also interested, I'm not sure if any of these are going to look different because of the biome, but something to be aware of. And I do feel like maybe this is too many different kinds of leaves. Maybe we should leave the birch out. Just use a few mangroves here and there. Nice. Little bush. We could start adding more little bushes kind of up here. This is where it gets weird, because this is where we start messing with perceptions of gravity. Which is really going to mess with my brain. I hope that this isn't hopelessly confusing. Oh, hey Blade Master, how's it going? If you're interested, so this is a private creative server. If you're interested in joining, maybe I'm trying to think of a good way to do this. I can put my email address in the chat, and you can send an email to this email address, and I will send you the application. I will send you the application email thing that I send out. Hold on one second. This goes for everyone. Anyone who is interested in joining the build team. We do have an application process because there are a lot of people who ask. But you are everyone is welcome to apply. I can't guarantee that people are going to that everyone's going to be able to join, just because we do have a fairly small team, and I don't want it to get too large. But absolutely, if you're interested in joining, put in an application. Never hurts to ask, right? Also, I'm sorry I missed Phoenix the Hedgehog. I just noticed that you have a message in here from way earlier in the stream. If by chance you are still watching, I'm sorry that I missed that message. I did not see it for some reason. It's not a survival though. This is creative. We're doing some city building. This is my main project. I'm mostly a creative player. I do a little bit of survival from time to time for fun with friends, but mostly this is my life. Creative building on this one server. We've been doing it for the last 3 years. Kind of nuts. Set a bush here. You can see these bushes are not terribly exciting bushes. I think they add a lot of character. I will build a few of them. Mostly my goal when I build these kinds of bushes is just to cover up all the leaf or the fence blocks with leaves. We also are going to need some light. And I'm wondering what the best way to add some light to this area. So I mean, on one hand, I could just add some like light blocks or some lanterns or something, but I'm not sure if that would look the best, or yeah, I'm not really sure that's the direction I want to go with it. Hard to say. I feel like there needs to be a tree, like right there, right? Even if it's just like a little scrawny sapling. Yeah, look at that. That's so cute. Little scrawny tree. That might be too many leaves. I think we can get rid of these. Look at that! I love it. Glowstone. That's interesting. You think I should put the... Well, I can't hide the glowstone underground, I guess. Because I can't put carpets on it because you can't put carpets upside down. But I could have like some little... Because I do think that there's going to be like a path that goes up like this to the tower. Maybe there's like some little glowstone lamps along the path. For a path, we're going to want to draw it out. Okay, I like that idea. Let's try some glowstone. But before I do that, I also want to add some path. Coarse dirt, rooted dirt. That's probably all we need, really. Just a little something to maybe brown mushroom blocks. We'll do expose. And then I think we can just... Yeah, we could just have like a little path. I think maybe smaller than that. Just because this structure is pretty little. So we don't want to fill the entire thing, but maybe we do this like a radius 2, and then we have another one. I'm going to put it on this axe, and then we're going to do a different one that is a larger radius, but with less of these blocks. So we'll put more moss and green wool. And then this will be... So what will happen is we'll do two paths. We'll do one path like this, and then we do the other path on top of it. Oh, we can't... Ah, I see. So we need to do this one first, and then we do this one. Because this one puts like a kind of a vague path in place that we can use. Like that. And then this brush will add the actual part that's all dirt. There we go. Nice. That looks really weird. But kind of fun, also. Let's break these. And now that we do that, now we can maybe add some glowstone. I'm trying to think of what... It's a wizard place, right? So maybe there's just floating blocks of glowstone around. Maybe that's kind of magical. Yeah. Or maybe they don't have to be glowstone. Maybe we could just make like glowing... What if we had floating candles? Like kind of Harry Potter style? That might be kind of fun. Let's see if we can do some candles. I'm not 100% sure. I think I can do it like this. I think I can... I don't really want to have to place these candles in the air by my hand. I think I can do it like this, though. Candle. And 99% air. Radius of, like, 4. Can we mask air? We do like this. That's a little weird, but I kind of like it. Yeah, that's what's weird and fun. Let's see if we can go and light all these. It'd be a hassle. I wonder if these are going to provide enough light. I would think they would. There's enough of them. But if not, we can add some light blocks just to simulate light. So we have the visual of the candle, but the light from the candle actually comes from light blocks. That might be better. Hey, Bart's here. Look at that. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. I do think we need like some light blocks in order to light oh, actually, you know what? I forget. You can get these from the creative inventory. And I don't want 15. That's too bright. But maybe like 10. And then what I'll do is I'll put these on top of all the different candles. Or at least near. And that way, because candles don't on their own provide a ton of light, but I like the aesthetic of the candles. I think that's a fun... It feels very magical, you know? So I think that what we can do is we can have the magical feeling and then the mechanical lighting of the light bulb. Nope. Not being super picky about where these light blocks end up. Just as long as they are near the candles they're supposed to be lighting up. Man, we haven't gotten to the tower part of this yet. We're about 2 hours in. Might end up being a longer stream just because I'm feeling very inspired today. Candles are so small. And it's so hard to aim the cursor at them sometimes. Okay. Get all those to go away. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a visible pathway, right? That looks good. Okay. I think we need some trees. Um Also, building a tower upside down I think is gonna prove to be more challenging than I think it will be. But let's bone meal some stuff maybe. I don't want to bone meal. I'm worried that's gonna mess things up. Let's just place some grasses and whatnot by hand, which is gonna be weird. I'm not sure how this is gonna work, placing grass by hand on a hill shaped like this. This is very odd. I guess I could put some hanging roots and stuff too. This is very strange. I kind of like it though. Yeah, I can't actually put things hanging upside down. I could hang some roots and some spore blossoms and stuff. Put a few of those around. I can put them on the ground like they're regular flowers, which is weird. I kind of like it. I don't know about you guys. This is messing with my perception of like the world though. It's trippy. Okay, that's kind of fun. Let's build a tower. And then I think we'll try and do like a tree maybe down here. Maybe a tree kind of up here. Something strange. And this tree definitely needs a little bit of light. Maybe add a little bit of light underneath some of the leaves. There we go. Okay, tower time. Tower time. Now, since the rest of this build is very pretty crazy, I think we'll go pretty basic with the tower. Wow, building upside down is not my favorite thing. Let's see, is that the middle? No, I think this is the middle. Yeah, and is that the center of like the... I'd say we need to move it in line with these roots. I think this is like the center of our tower. That gives it enough space that we can have it hang down without running into the little tree. Yeah, okay. It's weird building upside down. I can't explain how weird it is. It just is. Yep, that's a good length for a tower. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 blocks. So I need to stand on this. And I do H, sill, diamond, radius like 3, and we do it 18 tall. And hopefully... Yeah, in fact, I think we probably do 19, because that'll merge it in with the ground appropriately. There it is. There's the start of our tower. This is the goofiest thing. Okay. Let's add some little support things to the base of it. And then also we need a front door. So yes, that's the front door. That's really weird. This whole thing is very, very weird. Oops. I think we need a window, like right here, so the wizard can look out and see the tree. I think that's nice. I guess we can put windows all the way around. And I guess that's the other question. Should this tower be something where, like, should I try and put, like, I think it should be a properly upside down place. Like, I think that you walk around the inside this tower with your head facing the center of the earth. I think this is a proper upside down tower. So it's just got a nice feel to it. Okay. Let's go ahead and add some details. So I'm thinking this is going to be a very simple kind of stone brick tower. Stone brick seems like a good starting material. Because I want the focus of this, I want this to be like a very normal looking tower that is just like in a very weird location and stuff, you know? That's the feeling. So I think when we add details, they're going to be simple details. Stuff that makes this, I don't want this tower, I don't want people to look at the tower and be like, that's a weird tower. I want people to say, that's an interesting tower in a weird place. Then we put another band of these around here. Perfect. Nice. Add some, I like andesite for like some of the foundational stuff. Feels very strong. Okay, and then here's the doorway. So the doorway is going to be different. I think we're going to try and put a... So this is technically more of like a roof than it is like a... like a porch. It looks kind of like a porch, but it's not, because it's upside down. Oh, this is very, very strange. Okay. Cool. Put some other little... I wonder what color roof this thing should have. Kind of feel like maybe red. Red feels like a fun color. Or purple. Purple's kind of a classic wizard color. What colors do we have? I think a dark oak trim feels like the way to go there. Yeah, maybe we do like a purple roof. That'd be fun. Or an amethyst roof. Amethyst actually sounds like a really good time. We might do an amethyst roof. Let's... I think I'm gonna break this bottom level of the tower. I think I actually want it only to be this tall. Let's add our little... I think this is how this works. It's weird because I've built 100 of these roofs before. You know, like the little pointy wizard ones. I'm not sure if I've ever built one upside down. We do that. And then there's like probably an extra layer down like that. That actually might, well, I don't know. That might be too wide. But I'm not sure if we'll know until we finish building the roof. So do like this. I need full blocks because I'm gonna do this. Oh god, this hurts my brain. Yeah. This is how it's supposed to go, right? Probably. That, and then okay, I think I'm getting it. We'll take a step back and see if this roof looks the right size. But the shape is good. Oh, we are very near the ground. Oh, you know what? I think that's about perfect. Yeah, because I don't think I want the pointy bit of the roof to touch the ground, but I want it to be like really close to the ground, like close enough to the ground that if you jumped, you could touch it, you know? Put a little pointy spire bit like that. Okay, and let's see if we can fill it in. Kind of feel an amethyst. Kind of feel like that seems like a neat. I don't really use amethyst for a lot, so amethyst roof might prove to be pretty cool here. Yeah, maybe. The issue is I don't have any slabs or stairs or walls, which actually makes that roof style look a little bit less good. Maybe we won't do amethyst. Maybe we'll do something. What else we got? If we do red, we could use red mushroom blocks. Maybe we just use red nether bricks. That's kind of an easy thing to start out with. And it's a great color. It's so bright. I love the richness of it. Makes for a really compelling wizard. Surprisingly, a block that I don't feel like people use very often. Probably because it's not very easy to get survival, would be my guess as to why that is. It is a little bit challenging to procure. Nice. Okay, and then I think we're gonna use the magic of world edit. We're just gonna copy that into all the corners. Okay, copy, rotate 90 degrees. That should fill in this corner. Yep. Nice. That looks really silly. I like it. I feel like we need some lights kind of around the underside edge of this, maybe. And some hanging but not hanging lanterns. Okay, let's do the palette for the body of this. Like I said, mostly stone brick. We'll try to include some other things in there just to keep it interesting. Maybe andesite. Let's see here. Yeah, it honestly seems pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Stone bricks. Mossy stone bricks. Oh, andesite. Perfect. All right. Add a little bit of glass to the windows and stuff like that. Little details. The interior will have to wait on this one because I'm just not sure what to do with the interior quite yet. I like those. This is a really silly building. I think we had a few more little decorations. I feel like we can always find a few places to squeeze in some stairs and slabs and stuff. And then maybe some bars, chains, things like that. Lanterns. Always good stuff. I think, actually looking at this, what I may do is I might move this. Actually, no. I think I'll leave it here because I actually want to put a little nether brick roof over the windows. I want to do like this. I can't do that unless I leave the ring where it is. So this is a good spot. Ooh, should we try to do some upside down flower boxes? That sounds complicated. Let's see. Gotta use moss. But I think everything else is not really directional, so pretty sure we can do like this. I guess we can. Are there any upside down plants we can put in it? I can put spore blossoms in it. That would be fun. They're really weird. I don't know. I've never used spore blossoms as like decorative ground plants before. I've only ever hung them in trees and whatnot. But I think they are pretty much the only upside down flower. That's goofy. I love it. What else? I think that might be kind of it. Should we try to build a quick tree? Quick tree. Kind of feeling it. Oh, and then the hanging lanterns, I think, also. Guess I'd hang them here. Unfortunately, I can't get the lantern models to be upside down, but this will have to do. Door. We need a door. Standard spruce door. Okay, let's build one little tree and then we're done. Just because I'm feeling very inspired. We'll just do kind of our... I keep calling these oak trees. I don't know if they're really oak trees, but kind of like, I suppose. Well, it's a good place for it. Maybe like this. This is very strange. I'm not sure how to feel about building this way. Yeah, okay. This is hurting my brain. Ow. I think... things don't connect the way I want them to. I can put... Yeah, okay, never mind. That's not what I'm thinking. I can put blocks like that. And I can put blocks like that. Yeah, I can. Okay. And I can fit blocks like that. But I can't put a block there. That one won't fit. This one will. Okay, and then we... This should be pretty much the same. And I'm getting a spam call. They're probably asking, calling to tell me about my car's extended warranty. Huh. Why am I not seeing the YouTube comments? I'm sorry. Hello, Dim Pets. I don't know when you commented. But I'm sorry that I missed it. I'll have to check my streaming settings and see if I can figure out why I'm not seeing any of these comments as they come in. It's honestly the biggest reason is because I'm multi-streaming. I'm on Twitch and on YouTube, and I think I really kind of need to pick one. Hello. You said do it in survival for $500. No. $500 is not nearly enough money to convince me to try and do something this crazy in survival. Too much work. But no, I'm not gifted enough at survival to do this in survival, unfortunately. Okay, that's a treat. Grab some leaves. We'll probably just steal one of these leaves. Whee! Let's see here. I have to say, doing trees in sideways it's challenging to start out with, but actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought this would be a lot harder to do. But it's logical. Like, it makes sense where things go, I guess. It's easier. Maybe it's easier. I don't know. It's kind of it's working. It's working. I'm working with it. Question is, does it look good with the tree or not? That one I'm not sure. Tree might be too much clutter. I'm not liking the big tree. Actually, I think it's better with just the small tree. Maybe we build a big tree like on top of the little curvy hill thing. But I actually think this is too cluttered. It's too much in a small space. I'll get rid of this. Goodbye, tree. Okay. Man, fences are hard to click on. I like this idea. I think that it has potential, but just not here. We'll put a leaf under there, though. Yeah, I think having the open space over here is important, because I think it just makes this look nicer. Let's break these. Okay. And I think that's kind of where we'll wrap the stream up. It's a little bit longer than normal, but I think we need to take the time to do this, because this is silly. This is what I love doing. I love doing weird builds. So I hope you enjoyed watching me build an upside down wizard tower, and also wander around the jungle a little bit. If you did enjoy it, you want to see more, I'm going to be doing these streams hopefully every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the plan. We may vary a little bit from that from time to time, depending on how much free time I have, but that's the general goal. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And I hope you guys have an excellent afternoon, morning, or evening, or whatever time it is where you are. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.